Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. Okay, so alright, there's a lot to unpack in this 18-minute episode. So you got Will and Electra just like being very befuddled about Electra's firing. They're like, they're not getting any answers, and it just doesn't make any sense since she's been doing a good job. And they're like, Will's like, I want to sit there and get to the bottom of this. Meanwhile, you got um Ivy snipped this saying, she worked so hard to escape her past and everything like that, but she doesn't allude to it, right? And meanwhile, you got Carter, you got Hope, you got Katie, and she shows them the fake nudes. And so, Carter and Hope, Carter pretty much is like, well, listen, I'm glad, I understand why you had to sit there and let it go, da 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 da. And then they get into this, I'm gonna be honest, maybe this woman is famous. I have no idea, but they get into this whole thing where like they're trying perfume by this woman, to expand the Forrester brand or whatever, right? They have this whole BS meeting that really doesn't go anywhere, and it stops abruptly because I don't know, she has another meeting or whatever, and I don't know, maybe she's an actual singer of a life. Who knows? Anyway, when she leaves, you got Will and Electra pretty much just barged in like, yo, listen, I don't know what the hell is going on. Why did you fire Electra? And Katie just has that stupid look on her face like she doesn't want to say anything. And then after them going, well, after Will pretty much going on and on and on and on and on, she's finally like, okay. Carter looks at him like, you can tell them. After that, she shows them both the nudes, and she's like, well, see, she's not as sweet and innocent as she appeared to be. And I'm like, do you know that your sister is Brooke Logan, right? Did you really just sit there and say that she didn't seem like she was innocent and sweet after Brooke Logan has been walking around in lingerie for over 20 something years? What? Okay, sure. Let's go with that for a minute. Will took one look at that and was like, that ain't her. That's a fake AI deepfake right there. That's not her. That's AI generated. And here's the thing. Katie is PR. She's supposed to know about this stuff. This isn't something that should have went over her head. He looked at that picture one time and he knew right off the rip that it was AI generated. My friend, during Christmas, we were talking about this because, AI has gotten so advanced that it won't be that much longer before they can literally sit there and start to replace certain people on a movie set. Um, I have to find this clip. They did this clip of like what the Avengers looked like in the 1980s, and these people look so real. It's insane. But of course, you can tell it's an AI generated. And there's certain little things that you can kind of look for to really sit there and see. But let's just sit there and go on the simple fact she didn't know what AI is, which I find that impossible to believe. She has heard of Photoshop, right? And even the best Photoshops can look sort of real, but you can tell that they're Photoshop. So my whole thing is like, how did you sit there and just fire this chick on a belief? If none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. A random email that was sent to your email address, and it just shows pictures of her being nude. And you fired her on the spot. You didn't even sit there and ask what that was about. You just straight up fired her. And your son comes in, takes less than 10 seconds to look at it, and it's like, yeah, this picture ain't real. I'm sorry. How are you keeping your job at this point? I'm just. Meanwhile, Elijah freaks out. By the way, again, look up a story called Sweet Lenity. You'll see what I'm talking about. So she freaks out. She hears Remy. So she starts to run out, but she sneaks past the couch and he goes in the bathroom. Now at this point, you have clear access to just run out that damn door. But she waves, she hesitates, she does all this BS, and eventually, as she's about to run out, he catches her. She's like, "You did it. You're the one that messed me back up in Dallas. That's where they were." And he just confesses. He's like, "Yeah, I did it. I can't live without you. I love you. Da 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 da. And let's go to New York and let's be together." I mean, this is where it's like he just starts to break down and just starts breaking down pretty much. Um, And then she starts lashing back at him, Smith is saying you're sick, and I'm going to call the cops. Of course, we already knows what happens at this point. He slams the door, and he pretty much like, you're not going anywhere. He just gets so frustrated. Why is this guy always sweating? He's all. I know LA could be hot, but like I've seen certain days where it's like, bro, why are you sweating so much? What was you doing on that computer before? Like, anyway, the previews look pretty good. So I'm looking forward towards that. Now, Luna is all beaten up and bruised and everything like that, and Bill's like, "What happened? Did you tell the guards?" And which of course is like, why would you? I mean, Bill has Brent to jail before. I don't even understand why would he even sit there and say, "Did you tell the guards about who's bullying you in the jail?" What do you think what happens if you snitch? Do you see how she looks right now? But she's all like, I know I did bad things. I think she was like, I know I'm a criminal, but I don't belong here. You know you're a criminal, but you don't belong here. You unalived two people. By the way, just on a side note, I highly suggest any woman that's watching this, take a self defense class. Take a self defense class. No one's not there saying that you gotta learn kung fu overnight, but because I'm gonna be honest, there are people that's like Remy. There are people that's like Remy. Um, and that's always just take a self defense class. But yeah, then she starts with the whole I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm gonna sit there and take 30 seconds to make excuses. Oh yeah, my upbringing, my mom, and I wouldn't have did what I did if it wasn't for my upbringing. You understand because your mom was abandoning you and everything like that, and sympathy, sympathy, sympathy card pretty much is what she sits there and does. And she's all like, "Oh, I'm gonna get killed, and you gotta help me." And you can tell, Bill. I know that Bill was an asshole back in the day, but Bill also is a person that seems like he has a really big heart, and he still considers Electra. I mean, not Electra. Luna like a daughter to him. So I don't know what he's gonna wind up doing, but maybe this is how she gets out. I mean, we know that she's getting out. It just seems like with Remy, he came in there, he was turned into a creep really fast. It seems like the storyline is going to wrap up in maybe about 2 or 3 weeks, give or take. I would sit there and say not of next week, but the week after his story is going to wrap up. Um, Obviously, they're going to sit there and need a new baddie or somebody that has a little bit more of a morally gray. Morally gray. If you've been in my live streams, you know what I'm talking about when I sit there and say morally gray. But anyway, I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. This was a decent episode. I would sit there and say, minus the whole perfume and making people feel a certain way. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's a chemical reaction. We got it. We didn't, whatever. And you see in the previous, Rock. You know, I'll get into it more tonight. Um, yeah, because I still got more. You know, the sad thing is that one of my subscribers named Tommy was like, um, you know, he was like, you got to drag Brooke tonight. You got to drag her. And I was like, I don't need to. She's been doing that this whole time. I don't, it's like, seriously, I don't need to sit there and drag this woman because clearly she has no self respect. Um, yeah. It was like, I don't have to do anything because she's doing it all for me, unfortunately. But, anyway, write in the comment section if I missed anything. I'll come to the live stream tonight and we'll talk about it all there.